Definitely check out my link tree below. You can check out my films, my filmography, my short films. It would mean the world to me. You can log them on Letterboxd. Always looking to meet new filmmakers, other collaborators. It would just mean the world to me if you checked out my work. Also, Pesadilla will be coming out soon on Blu-ray and streaming, so stay tuned. I just got done watching We Live in Time, starring Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh. Guys. And it's directed by John Crowley, and I completely forgot that this film was actually being distributed by A24 until I got into the theater. And it was actually kind of a packed theater for 11:30 a.m., and it's not even opening night. It's Saturday. It's Saturday morning. So, first off, I do want to say this because I find it to be very bizarre. Like, I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen with this film, especially with, like, its Oscar chances and such, but, it's got some pretty good reviews. It's got some really good reviews. It's higher than I thought. It's got an 80 from critics, and it's got a 93 from audiences so far, which there's not really many audience scores, to be fair. But, wow, it is... I'm very surprised that people are not talking about this film. I'm very surprised more people are not talking about this film. When I first saw the trailer for this, I was like, yep, this film's going to break my heart. I'm just not going to be the same after watching it. And here we are. We Live in Time follows two lovebirds as they progress through life. Things happen, and it does not happen in chronological order. That is, let me just read you the actual synopsis. Almut and Tobias are brought together by a surprise encounter that changes their lives. As they embark on a path challenged by the limits of time, they learn to cherish each moment of their unconventional love story. It's very unconventional, especially the way that they meet. It's not really a spoiler how they meet, although if you've not seen the trailer, then you're probably not going to know. So it might be a little bit, it might be more fun to actually watch the film without knowing how they meet, because it is kind of, it's not cute. It's actually kind of horrific if you actually look at it from a realistic perspective. But essentially, Tobias has just gotten out of a divorce, and he meets this chef, Almut. I hope I'm saying that right. And you get to see their chemistry blossom as soon as the film starts, because it is told not in chronological order. It's very much a tale that is abstract. It is very much so up to interpretation in terms of, as moments are going on, you sort of have to fill in the blanks, because it's not like the straight linear story. They'll put you in a scene where something is going on and you're like, oh, okay, I wonder what happened before this, because this is obviously not the first time this has happened. So you start to think, okay, well, what has happened in their relationship to put them in this point in time? And I think that's what makes it very interesting, because yeah, the film would have definitely have worked if it was a straightforward linear story, but it's kind of, in a way, it makes me think of other films that are, you know, on the same path of being linear, and you just sort of think, okay, well, what would happen if we jumbled things up a little bit? Because I do think it can sometimes hurt your film, but at the on the other side of things, it could also benefit things, especially if you have a lot of events transpire in your narrative. Then at that point, it's like, oh, okay, well, it might be interesting to put the audience in this perspective so they can sort of wonder, how the heck did we get there? And I like that about it. When I first watched it, the first 10 minutes, I was not sold. I was like, okay, this is a little bit jarring. This is a tad bit jarring. I'm not sure what's going on here. And then as the film progressed, I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to sit here and say that I cried or anything, because I don't really cry during films. There's only one film that I can actually think of that I cried in, and that was Bridges of Madison County. That stoplight scene was rough. I've still not recovered. That's why I run red lights. I'm just kidding. I don't run red lights. Or do I? You don't know me. You don't know my personal life. Yeah, there was a few moments that really pulled on some heartstrings, because I am very, very happy where I'm at as a cinematic viewer, as somebody, you know, well, that's probably a stupid way to word. I'm very happy where I'm at as a film lover, because, you know, fortunately I got into film while I was a single dude that didn't have much responsibility, and now fast forward now, I'm married, I have a kid, and I'm kind of just living life, you know, I'm just chilling. And even beforehand, the point of me saying that is, back whenever I didn't have that sort of family attachment in terms of developing my own family, because when you're brought into this world, you already have a family, but then as you get older, you develop a family, whether that be with friends, whether that just be with people you care about, a loved one, something like that, having kids or anything. Just there's multiple things that can sort of involve you having a family, but already having a family, being brought into the world with a family, even watching stuff like this where families would go through turmoil and heartbreaking scenarios, I knew that it was sad. I mean, obviously I knew that I couldn't connect with some things on a personal level, but I knew that it was sad. And now being in the position where I do have my own family, it just makes it that much more heartbreaking. So it's just I kind of like the outlook that I have on stuff like this now. Not saying that if you don't have an outlook on that, you're not going to get something out of it, because there were definitely people in the theater that I could just hear audible reactions, and I'm not going to speak for them and what their lives are personally, but I do think that there is this sort of attachment that you have being in the sort of similar scenario. Like, I'm not saying my relationship started how this relationship started. That's for damn sure. It did not happen that way. I'm glad it didn't. But watching the film, it pulled on some heartstrings, because I was like, okay, well, I love my family, I love my wife, I love my son. It would be very sad to be put in this position, and you start thinking about everybody else that is put in the position. And I like films that execute that in a way where it doesn't necessarily hold your hand, but at the same time, it does sort of tell you, hey, this is reality, this is what's going on. Love one another. And that just meant a lot to me as not only a moviegoer, but as, I guess you could say, a family man. And overall, I really loved We Live in Time. When I first saw the trailer for this, I thought that it was going to be a modern day love story. That's what I was hoping it was going to be. I don't think it's going to be that, just because of how abstract the film actually is. It's not really. I do think general audiences will enjoy the film. Like, I'm pretty sure they will. Cinephiles are definitely going to love this film. And it is the weird mix of it's a crowd pleaser, but at the same time, it's not afraid to show you certain situations that might make you uncomfortable, and that's one thing that I liked. I thought Florence Pugh did an amazing job. She was fantastic. The directing, the cinematography, the writing, everything was really good. Andrew Garfield, I like Andrew Garfield as an actor. I love him as an actor, but I really wish that people would put him in more, which it might just be that he's not looking for roles like that. But when I think of Andrew Garfield, some of my favorite roles that he's been in, I love Hacksaw Ridge. I love Under the Silver Lake. And I feel like his character could have been utilized a lot more. So what I'm saying is his performance was great. I just wish that his character development would have been a lot stronger throughout the film. Although I do understand there is sort of this narrative twist that happens where I can see why Florence Pugh was put front and center, because obviously when something like that happens, you definitely probably should be. So I do get it. So me saying that, it does not matter. So forget what I say, okay? Just go see the movie. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up, maybe subscribe. Definitely check out my link tree down below. Let me know what you thought of We Live in Time, and I'll see you next time.